Well, we've been waiting for such a long time for King Charles's coronation, talking about it, speculating, gossiping about it, going on and on and on. And this morning, the ceremony happened, and King Charles's ceremony is in the past, and we are here to talk about it because it was very exciting thing to watch. And we are here on Hot for History to really get the reactions. Many of us are from the United States. I'm curious to hear where you guys are from. They're saying that there's like over 30 million people in America who love to watch the royal family, and we're here to discuss it. We're going to talk about what Catherine Middleton or Princess Kate was wearing, what Prince William was wearing, what Charlotte was wearing, what they were all wearing. And then the ceremony, we're going to talk about the music. We're going to talk about everything. So I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know where you're from. My name's Deanna. I am from Hot for History. Please do subscribe, where you will hear more history stories and quirky history facts that I bet your history teacher would never dare to teach you. We also sometimes talk about alternate history. What would happen if something would happen, you know? So we also have a nice range of people here. When we go live, we've been really going live to talk about royal things lately. And I'm curious as to who got up early and watched. Was anybody actually there? We have people here from Tampa Bay, from London. Thank you, Christine, for being here. I'm just curious to see if you were on the streets, if you saw the event. Michigan, Florida. So I will say, this is my story. I planned on getting up super, super early, like at 5 a.m. I got up more like 5:45, and it was perfect. I'm not going to lie. I literally got up at the perfect time to see them come down the aisle, saw the entire ceremony, watched all the way to the time that they got on the balcony, watched after that, and it was great. Oh my gosh. And some of you never went to bed. Houston. Yes. And let's talk about Camilla, because this was, okay, we're going to talk about everything. First off, in my opinion, I'm just going to say it in one word. It was perfection. I mean, I had done some research regarding past coronations and mistakes and flaws and all of this stuff, but this was like bam, 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 perfection. Like it was, I mean, it rained, so that could have been more perfect, but it wasn't even bad rain. It was just sort of raining. We have people here from New Mexico, from Trinidad. Awesome. It was so cool to see the processional with all of the Commonwealth, royal military represented. And yes, Goodwill Bunny. I did post a video last night about Diana, and about all I could think about was Diana too. But it was interesting, after I got that off my chest and actually posted that video, when I watched the coronation, I actually wasn't thinking about her then, but I know a lot of people were, because I was reading the reactions to my video. And I love the story of the royal family too. Okay, so let's get into a little bit, because last night when we were talking about, for those of you who were live, we were like, is the royal family, is the monarchy going to survive? And we were like, I don't know, because there's so much. Apparently there were 25 different protesters who were arrested, who were like, not my king, that type of thing, obviously off camera. I guess the royal family was very particular about camera angles and where the videos were going to be taken and all of that. But let's talk a little bit about this first thing here. When we're talking about, will the monarchy survive? Last night, we were kind of on the fence. Some of us were like, no, and others were like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to kind of read a different angle, where one of the experts says that they actually have 100-year plan for survival. And then I'll take comments and questions. That is one of the things we like to do here, is take comments from, I don't put every single comment on there, but almost every single one. And we talk about it. So, and the reason why I'll skip some is just arbitrary. It's just, I'm just reading through them and sometimes I miss them. Okay. So royal expert Nick Bullen discussed the future of the monarchy during Saturday's coronation, predicting the royal family will persist, especially given the show of support at Saturday's coronation. I mean, it was very well received and it was perfect. I mean, I just thought it was perfect. I think the future of the monarchy is really well set, Bullen said. I've made programs with the royal family and we've talked to them about how they operate a 100-year plan. They're not even thinking about when William takes over and even when George takes over. It's when George's grandchildren take over. So They're thinking 100 years ahead. I think people in Britain really want the royal family still. He added the other options just aren't really things we'd consider. He cited a survey at what Americans, they took a survey of Americans as well. 34 million Americans said that they were avid royal fans, while another 35 million said they were truly fascinated by the royal family. And Bullen also recounted King Charles's history, reputation as a modernizer. The royal family isn't about revolution; it's about evolution, he said. I think that's what we're seeing with this king, and it's good, steady evolution. So, do you guys agree with that? And then we're going to talk fashion. Okay. Do you think that it's going to stick around? I mean, what do you think? Thanks so much for your efforts. Love your videos. The way you explain history is really amazing. Thank you so much. We're going to get into some other history content, especially now that the coronation is past, but I will always probably be touching on the royal family as well, because I think it's interesting. And we talked about this through Paul last night a little bit. Not anyone's king. His rule died with Diana. I put up a video and a short really about my heart, because I feel the same. Like, my heart was just so pulled regarding Diana the past few days. While like I said, when I was watching the coronation, I didn't feel it as much, but that's probably because it was sort of like I got it out. I released the video. Please watch it if you get a chance. No, did Meghan and Harry attend? Harry did attend. I have some pictures of Harry. He sat a few rows back. Hi, everyone. I was overwhelmed. It was boring. Really? Their weddings are better. I wasn't bored. At my first reaction was sort of like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of embarrassed because it looks so medieval. That was my first reaction. But then as it went on, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. For years, they have had monarchy protests. Yes, I didn't like that their grandchildren on the balcony. She doesn't deserve to be queen. So this is exactly my point as of last night, was that irregardless of how well the press has done with trying to make people love Camilla, and I personally had a good vibe with her today, absolutely. But my whole point in my video that I made about Diana, and I think the title that I put on the YouTube video was, I can't stop thinking about Princess Diana while Queen Camilla is crowned. And it's because Diana was so dynamic. Like, she just had the charisma. She had that X factor. And that is something that I don't think Camilla has. I think Camilla is going to be a good support for King Charles. And I think she'll be a good queen. She won't be overly dramatic. They went through all of their drama while they were dating. But yeah, that, and as far as, I was kind of annoyed with the balcony as well, because I was like, wait, why isn't all the family, why is Kate and Will and their children so far down the end? It just seemed, I don't know, I wanted them kind of pushed up a little closer for a really good shot. And RuPaul, yes, the Kohinoor is something that, oh my gosh, well, we've discussed. She flipped it and she used the Cullinan diamonds in the crown instead. But even the Cullinan diamonds are questionable. And then even though she didn't use it in her crown, they never returned the Kohinoor either. So yeah, and Harry was there. Missed the first 15, 20 minutes, but caught the ceremony before having to go to work, usual. Oh, I know. Charlotte and Kate, I'm going to show you some pictures in a second. England is lucky to have the tradition of a rock of stability in this very unstable world. And I think that's what a lot of people think. Camilla deserves to be queen. Kate was gorgeous. Absolutely. Been reading Albion Sees British Folks Ways in America. I need to I love to read all of these different things. Who is the blonde lady? Okay. I think maybe somebody here can tell me. I thought her name was Penny. Not Penny from Prince Philip, but she looked so dynamic. I don't know if I have a picture of her. Let's go on to some of these other articles, and then I'll show you some pictures, because I have a lot of pictures. Now, they just looked so great. And let me talk about the fashion, and then we'll go on. Okay, so let's talk about the fashion, because I just loved that Kate and Charlotte were dressed alike, although we couldn't see Kate's clothes. So I think the theme was, hey, keep things white and neutral underneath, and let the robes be the standout, right? So for senior royals like Queen Camilla and Kate, the Princess of Wales, the theme was pale, subdued dresses, in other words, underneath, or white, right? I think that they were real white. Maybe they were slightly off white. Camilla's had gold in it once she took it off. And they let their regal robes and glittering jewelry, which, by the way, I'm going to show you a picture. Kate, once again, wore Diana's earrings. I love when she does that. Camilla, who was crowned alongside King Charles III at Westminster Abbey on Saturday, wore an embroidered silk gown of ivory, silver, and gold tones. It was gorgeous. It really was. With a short train by Bruce Oldfield, a British designer favored by the royal family with matching shoes. Kate wore an ivory silk crepe dress by British fashion house Alexander McQueen under her cobalt blue, gorgeous, and red, cape with a tiara. She didn't wear a tiara. Instead, she had this large crystal silver headpiece that kind of represented nature by Jess Cullett and McQueen as well. She sported pearl and diamond earrings that were Diana's. And then Charlotte wore a similar headpiece and similar dress. So they sort of looked like they were like to represent the thistle, daffodil, and shamrock motifs of the different, the different countries. So they looked amazing. I'm going to show you some of those pictures. Even cover humans that are so-called. I know it's a lot of us like it. We don't want them running our country. We like, we fought for what we have. So I didn't like that Prince William and his family were shut. That's what I was just saying. Yeah, we were thinking the same thing at the same time. It was almost like the king and queen wanted nothing to do with them. I didn't like that either. That was the only thing that I wasn't crazy about. I also felt, this is just a slight criticism, I felt that Camilla could have, I don't know, there were times when she smirked a little bit, right? The king, I think, was understandably somber, but in a good way. I love that you could see Kate kind of smiling after the one amazing choir. They're like 6. There's an ensemble of African-American, well, maybe English-American, British-American, African-American, British, African, whatever, singers. I don't know what the name of the group was, so I apologize. But there was this great singing group. That's the other thing I want to get into. But she kind of, the high note, it was song Hallelujah or something, was so perfect at the end. And it was a smaller group than the larger group that normally sings. So it was really awesome. So she smirked a little bit in a good way, but I thought that Camilla, like they were so worried about getting through things. And yeah, the best part was when William kissed his father and you could see Charles sort of, you could see there was emotion there. Camilla winked at Charles. She's a winker. They have her, oftentimes she's seen winking. That's kind of her signature. I think I'm going to go back to this article because I want to see the pictures, if you guys don't mind, because this we can talk about while I'm showing you pictures. So here we go. I'm sorry. I think she looks great. I think she looks amazing. He looks amazing. He didn't mess up writing with the pen. I was so concerned he was going to get ink and have another tantrum. And then they just touched. Did you think it was weird that they just touched the ring? Okay, don't put the ring on because it might get stuck on your fingers. Let's just touch. And then Molly thinks that they're cringy and not worth discussing. Well, sometimes it's just cringy when some people are cringed out with older people in general. So I got chills when they put that crown on his head. I think Diana would have been seen as competitive with Charles. Camilla will be passive. That is true. That is true. Half of America are Puritan Christians and Thanksgiving story timeline. Okay, the whole family looked great. Okay, so Charles looked like a rickety. They were so. Okay, so the crown, the first crown, the St. Edward's crown, apparently is so unbelievably heavy that, he had to do that like senior citizen shuffling, which isn't that attractive. But I think that William, considering he will probably be younger, it'll still be heavy, but he may not be doing the shuffling thing. Charles is the oldest monarch ever, coronated ever. Yeah, because I think Edward, who waited a long time as well, was like 59. So yeah, disappointed about the tiaras though. I am too. Although I'm telling you, I think that Kate made her headpiece look great, but I would have liked to have seen the tiaras too. And that's the other thing. I do think that I think Camilla, I think she looked great, but I think that, I don't know. I just feel like it would be nice to have seen some more joy on their faces. I think that there was so much going on that it was like at the end, they were like, oh, it's so great to be in the coach. And now I feel relaxed, right? Kate basically ignored the tiara rule. She had a fake headpiece that called attention to her instead of Camilla. So I think, well, I think it was reported that Charles asked her to wear that, but I don't know how that went down. Christine Edward, no, Megan Red, the big red feather on Princess's uniform hat did as good as photo blocking job as the candle did on M last time. Okay. Oh, okay. So we're talking about Harry, I think, a little bit. We'll see that in a second. LOL, it's okay to say, it's not a bad word. Titles. Okay, yeah, I know. You know what? My kids taught me that. They're like, because my kids are African, and they're like, you can just say black. Okay, so that they're three, so, but I don't know, like, if the group was, because I always just say African American. But yeah, I could have said the black choir. I like the ceremony of oaths in today's world. Can we talk about the music for a second? Today's world, bonds of faith and loyalty are important. I agree with that too, but I kind of had this, like, I feel like he can be a little hypocritical because he'll say that he's like the head of the church now, and then there's other things that he does, like a lot of Christians apparently are not really happy about the fact that he, is also a long time like life member of like the magic circle, inner circle. So there's like all kinds of interesting dynamics with him, but the oaths were good. Somebody said that he might feel it's a little cringy, but I feel like the way that Justin Welby put it was like, you can, if you feel, like you want to give an oath, but you don't have to. Love all the traditions in history. They should be banished, especially Camilla. And the best view of the crowd. Okay. So I heard the crowns very heavy. That's why they shifted the crowns. Like after 20 minutes, they always say it's 20 minutes that you have to keep that on the St. Edward's crown, and then they take it off and they change. So that's what it is. So here is Kate wearing this amazing looking headpiece with Diana's earrings, and she looked great. How can a mistress even have a coronation? It's because they're married now. And that's the other thing. When I was talking about hypocritical stuff regarding their religion or whatever, that, the fact that that's happening, I guess, would be considered something that they shouldn't do. But they're not Catholic, and he's the king, and they are married, and they've been married for almost 20 years. So I guess that's how it is. And then Diana's passed away. There's a great question as to what would have happened. Would they have been able to get married properly if Diana had not passed away? I don't know. King Charles was jealous of Princess Diana's alpha personality. Yes, was smart enough to let Charles take the lead. I think that's true. I think what happened was they thought that Diana would be docile and quiet, but I think they didn't expect her to be the person that she was. I love this picture. I just love this picture because I every time I see Charlotte, I think of Hermione from Harry Potter, because she just reminds me of that. And then when I see the three of them, I think of Harry Potter. I don't know what it is when I see George too, and then Charlotte correcting everybody. It just makes me laugh. The choir, the music. Yeah. Now Charles is like really into classical music. A lot of those pieces, believe it or not, were originals. And then some, like Zadok the priest is done at every single coronation. There was some Handel music. Elgar, Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the song Make a Joyful Noise, which came at a really great time during the ceremony. And I have to get the soundtrack because I just loved the music so much. That piece, just a little bit of trivia, Andrew Lloyd Webber found out he was writing for the coronation. And to be honest, for him, not a big deal. It wasn't like some people would have been like, oh my gosh, that's so great. Because, Andrew Lloyd Webber has been tight with them and written things for them before. But his son passed away shortly after that. And So there's a little bit of extra kind of emotion, heavenly, ethereal thing going on there because his son, who was also a composer and very close to him, had passed away. And then he wrote that piece. The music, the singing, the soloists were amazing. And then the fact that they did throw in like a smaller ensemble, the horns, but the choir was like ridiculous. So great. I think Anne had to change from wearing one thing to wearing what she wore when she was on the horse as the protector. And that's the other thing. That processional was outrageous. I want to take Charles' crown. Hello from, okay, Diana died, so it's considered fine. I guess that's why, yeah. I think that the king and queen's stuff is crap. They need to do away with the family. And this is the debate that's going on and on and on everywhere. And that's why we had this conversation last night about, hey, is the monarchy going to die? Like, we don't even know if it's, most of us probably have some type of royal blood. I know I do, but I'm not saying that to brag because I think we all do. And then how do you really know for sure? They weren't like doing DNA testing back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's hypocritical that Prince William accepts his father being married to a divorced woman, but objects to his brother Harry marrying another divorced woman. But I don't know. Is that his objection? I think his objection is more about Meghan specifically, but it's possible. Okay, so we're gonna look. Yes, the Middletons. Well, I didn't see them close up. I have a feeling that they were trying to keep the cameras tight, away from Harry's row. But I did get a glimpse of Harry a few times. Okay, yeah. The St. Edward's crown weighs 5 pounds. The Imperial State crown weighs 2.5. So when you saw them leave, I think Camilla has the same crown on. She wore the same crown, but he had 2. He had to have 2. Like Queen Victoria cried when she had to put that crown on. So, it was really, really heavy. So they had to change it out, but it was very, very heavy. And I think I didn't see Carol Middleton and her husband and all that, but I'm sure that they were there probably. Look at this picture. This is amazing to me. So I want to talk about Harry in a second. Some of those robes were old and dusty. The church should replace. I think these are new, but yeah. That's the thing. We always think everything's going to be fresh, but you never know. I'm not a big fan of King Charles because Princess Diana was so much better than Camilla. And this again is so like, it wasn't like the press barely discussed it. They barely discussed it. I think it was proper for them not to bring up Diana during the actual coronation ceremony. But this thing that Arabella is just mentioning now, and this is why I brought it up, was because it's sort of like, I call it a phantom. I don't want to call it like a ghost, but it's like this phantom energy thing. It's like Diana and her tragedy, not only with her death, but the divorce, the drama that so many people remember. And then the fact that she was so dynamic and she wasn't the wallflower that they thought she was when she was engaged at 19 and married at just barely 20. So yeah. Wow. You woke up at 2 a.m. Whew, you must be on the West Coast. The Middletons were there. We all got Waspu blood. Yes. Okay, so Prince Charlotte and Prince Louis, they were so cute. And George was so adorable. Did you read everyone's post about after you went live, like today's tribute to Diana? No, I didn't read that part. I mean, I read a lot of it, but I didn't read all of it. People are very tight with her. And then others are like, hey, give Camilla a chance. That's in the past. So it's very split in that regard. But I do think that I think it's almost impossible for Camilla unless she was, I don't know. It's impossible because Charles would have wanted a partner that was more, hey, you're the boss, you're in charge, like Camilla. But that means then the press you're not going to be sparkly in the press. So the press is going to have to work hard to have you shine like that, Yes. No, you see, they were just mentioning that, but I didn't see that shot. I'm going to show a picture of him in a second. Charles looked old and tired and struggled with the weight of the massive cloak and crown. Camilla glowed and looked like the cat that's got the cream. She did there was a moment, I forgot to mention this. Sorry, I didn't mean to take you off. There was a moment, I would say, yeah, she definitely was sort of like, I did it. Like, I mean, sorry, the smile, the little smirk kind of looked like we got it. You know what I mean? And he did, like, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't look the healthiest to me. But I would be concerned I'd be falling too. I've broken my leg like twice in the past 10 years. And now I'm a little bit more careful when I walk. So I can understand, like, many people's biggest fears is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to trip. Okay. So let's get to this. So this is, I'm sorry, this picture's a little blurry. But yeah, now this woman, can somebody remind me of her name? But look at what she looked amazing. She was impressive. I need to know what her title was. I'm sorry, I should have researched that. Harry left for the airport immediately after the coronation. He did not join the royal party afterwards. I saw Charles and Camilla smirking at times where they were talking about serious stuff. It was annoying. Oh, you mean at the inappropriate times? They sometimes do that. But, you know, I was thinking about that. They're sort of like, when I was watching Camilla sort of like, you know, gesture her kids onto the balcony. I was thinking that it's kind of funny because I guess when you're the king and the queen, you can do everything. So here's Harry. Can we talk about that? He is in a Dior suit. He's in a Dior suit, but is it me? He looks like he just got off the plane and didn't have time to shave. I swear, like, he does not look good to me. He does not look good. So I think to be later because of Diana is so stupid to me. If you look at the good changes, yeah, I know it's hard though, because I'm trying to give Camilla the benefit of the doubt, but I still have a little bit of that too, Lynn. And yet Camilla has done great things, and they were in love, and they were, you know, they've been married for like a long time, longer than Diana and Charles were. So yeah, the woman with the sword, she has an official title. I feel really bad not mentioning it. Her name, I think her name is Penny something. And what she was wearing, I think, was also either an Oldfield gown or an Alexander McQueen. It was definitely designer. And then the fact that she also had that nature sprig, I feel like, I know that, was it, it's E.H. Bunny was saying, okay, well, Diane, why did Kate need to wear the crown, tiara, when nobody else did? But I almost feel like they kind of wanted to show that theme, that little sprig theme of nature here and there. It sort of pulled out what was in the invitation as well. I don't know. The British public objection is that Meghan had tried to completely upturn the royal traditions and rank status. She seems to think it's a job where you can jump the ranks to be promoted to be the boss. Yeah, I mean, I think I know that I wasn't thinking today when I was watching about Meghan or Harry. I just wanted to know where he was sitting. But yeah, that's quite possible. When King Charles passes away and William becomes king, what will they call Camilla? Dowager Queen. I do not think that they will be calling her the Queen Mother. And I just put up a post, a short video, a rather kind of emotional video about how Prince William, when Princess Diana lost her Royal Highness title, was devastated. That was in the divorce settlement. And Charles was adamant, you're not getting that. The Queen Elizabeth was like, sure, that makes sense. You're going to be the king's mother. Let's just keep you with the HRH title. But we think it would be nice, obviously, if Will, who said to his mother when he was 14, don't worry, mommy, I will give it back to you when I'm king. That's the rumor. I don't know for sure, but that was in a book. We think that Diana will get this sort of honorarium title in death, but she would be a dowager queen. Don't like Harry anymore. That is the case with many of us. He looks messy. I think he looks horrible. He looks like, to me, I think he looks like he's a man that is highly, you know, I'm saying this out of personal experience, not because I'm trying to totally diss him, but he looks like he's going down that spiral, like into the rock bottom part, and somebody needs to pull him up and get him out of it. That's what I think he looks like. He looks like he's taken a turn for that in these pictures. Again, we're just judging based on these few pictures. There's these two. Let me show you the other pictures where he looks like he's trying to be a little jovial or whatever, but he doesn't, honestly, he doesn't even look like he got out a trim. He doesn't even look like he got out a trim for his beard for me. This is Sophie and Edward. They looked amazing too. Where was the other Harry picture? Okay, here it is. See, he's kind of smirking. Okay, do you guys hear me now? I'm sorry. I probably lost most of you guys. Yes, I did lose the live stream for a hot minute. Can you hear me now? Am I at present? That has not happened to me in a really long time. So I apologize. We were talking about Harry, and everything kind of fell to hell. So, okay, here we go. So let's talk about Harry a little bit. Let me get to your questions. Here's a shot with, okay. So thank you. Thank you guys for hanging out. I don't know what happened there. So yeah, regarding Harry, I don't know. He said the pledge to the king. So did some of the foreign dignitaries. So I don't know. I wasn't able to see him. And who knows if he really saw him, but I believe everybody said, okay, he's gone. He got on the plane already. I mean, I don't know. It's so disturbing. I don't think any of us were thinking much about Harry today. That was the other thing. I felt like it was so refreshing in that way. I know it might have been a little bit boring, but I felt like it was really refreshing. And the processional that ended up going back to the Buckingham Palace was powerful. It was powerful. The music, the horses, the carriages. It was so fun seeing little Louis, who was very well behaved. Sometimes I think he was sitting down, but it was beautiful. Thank you, MC. Thank you. Okay, so I think you think Harry wished Meghan had gone. I think it would have been great for her to have gone. I think they would have felt more supported. I think they should have stayed longer. I think they should have brought Archie and Lilibet, maybe had a babysitter while they were there, while they go to the ceremony, but then have time, make a month of it, make 2 weeks of it. That's what I think. But that's me, but I also felt like it was very refreshing in a sense that the focus, like nobody was really talking about them. Nobody was really talking about, okay, except maybe where was Harry, but Harry did. And that's the other thing. Everything seems so light. And by the way, like I started this live stream, it was perfect. Like there weren't any imperfections. Like it went off extremely well. And so the vibe was relatively kind of light and happy. And yeah, the music, especially because there were so many songs, like set that tone. And Harry did look sad and down. Has anyone ever burned their bridges like, no, no, I'm not British. So I just think that he is that, like, you think it's one thing. You know how families, it's like, wait, you said that about me. You said that about my wife. You did this, but it's more like, let me continue to punch while you're down. So it was intense. I agree with you, Lynn. Yes, we all love Diana, but she's gone. People need to get over their feelings, emotions. This is what's wrong with the world. People hate and people just because there's sensitivities. Yeah, I mean, we need to move on, but at the same time, this is what I think, Michelle and Lynn. I think it's not about hate. I don't hate Camilla at all, but I'm just bringing up the fact that people have, well, I think they haven't totally forgiven the situation, and that's hard. But I think it's the memory of Diana. It's hard to get rid of, and I think the comparison thing, unfortunately, is natural. I don't think we should be comparing them because they're not alike at all. But it's just we do, unfortunately. I worked at MGM where the pictures of Harry came out. He was just a lovely guest. He was. He's always our favorite. Always our favorite. I'm hearing two rumors. I heard that Harry and Meghan were invited to the coronation, but not the kids. And I'm hearing that King Charles wanted all of his family around him. So Harry and Meghan, or at least their press, was saying, well, the kids aren't invited. Well, the kids aren't invited into the coronation ceremony. What I heard is that they absolutely 1,000% wanted the entire family to come. No, the little kids wouldn't come. Zara Tyndall has really teeny tiny kids too. They're not there. Like, the little babies of the family, except for Louis, didn't make it there. They didn't come. So they wouldn't have been in the ceremony. Lilibet's not even 2 yet. And I think, Archie just turned 4. So that was sort of the cutoff. So the kids wouldn't be invited to the actual coronation ceremony, but they would, I'm sure they would be invited to England, and you can bring them to England. So anyhow, that's what I think. This was a time to put it all aside. Yet Meghan didn't try. Harry looked stressed, depressed. Yes, ma'am. No, she was invited. I think they were totally invited. I don't like or hate Camilla. I don't know. I think that's how I feel. I mean, there are times when I really like Camilla. I thought she was, pretty solid. She's 75 years old. She looked great. They had her in a really great outfit today. You can love, yes. Well, I forgive her. It's just that for me, I had that emotional, it's sort of like, you can, how can I best describe it? It's just the memory of Diana is still there, and this is bringing it up naturally. So you can also forgive, like you said, forgive Camilla, but still love Diana. So we can do that. We can honor Diana and say we miss her and we wonder what it would be like when she was there, while still saying Camilla looked great, and is probably a better mate for the king. Mentioned the 2 guys who signed the whole ceremony. I thought they were mesmerizing, full of enthusiasm. Oh, you know what? I didn't get to see that. I was watching at BBC and I did not see it. I would have loved to have seen that. Thank you. Yes, in the 1950s, we had both Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth alive as widows of George V and VI, both Dowager Queen, but Elizabeth was the mother to Elizabeth II. Yeah, because she was the Queen Mother as well. Camilla looked amazing. Yes, she was gorgeous. So let me see if I have anything else here, and then I'm going to go. I'm going to a movie tonight. I know we're all tired, but that was really, really fun. I was observation of myself, because I am not crazy about the Harry and Meghan thing. I do like the royal family, but at the same time, I was feeling that whole thing about Diana up until I released that video. And I feel so much better since I released that video. And today I didn't think about it. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Like, I was laughing at times. I was like, wow, it's so great. The music was just impeccable. The whole thing was impeccable. I don't know. I kind of was a little sad that Charles didn't have like his other son more kind of like, yay, dad, let's go. I'm glad that he showed up, but it makes me sad that that's going on, but that is it. We're going to see, you guys are going to die because I'm not into that much with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's a really nice theater. And my kids and my husband are taking me the Guardians. Is that what it is? Yeah, seeing that one. I want to steal the tiaras. Yes. Okay, hold on. It's the emotional attachment that's so sensitive. It's so hard, but we're trying. And I think it is true to show some respect. I think there's a great story that I could also tell regarding the love story with Charles and Camilla and how this is an amazing thing that they're here and he has the queen that he always wanted at his side. It's a pretty good movie. Okay. I have no context. Ask me about history, but my kids are so into like sci-fi and then the Guardian stuff and all that. So superhero stuff. My water cooler is making too much noise, so I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.